Hello, hello, everybody. So, I want to share a couple of things that I think are going to be really helpful for you to either consider if you're just starting your online coaching business or if you're not getting the results you want in your online coaching business, and really everything in between. I've been getting so much amazing feedback from you all on the podcast. Usually, people are sending that to me in DMs or sending me emails or jumping over into my free Facebook group, Authentic Conversion, Organic Six Figure Fitness Business. And I'm just loving that. And one of the pieces of feedback that I've gotten repeatedly that I am most excited about, that I would say I am most proud of, is the fact that you are, through listening to this podcast, having really being able to develop a deeper belief in yourself and really truly starting to understand what's possible when it comes to building your online business. And that is such a beautiful thing. And I know for me, like in the early stages of building my first business, which was my gym, I really, really needed that model, right? I really needed to see what was possible. And this was kind of like before, I don't know if podcasts were a thing then. I don't know. Were podcasts a thing in 2011? I don't know. But it was certainly before I was listening to them, and information was certainly not as readily available as it is today. And so I know that the different communities and things like that that I got involved in, and the books that I read, and the webinars that I attended, and things like that, it was so transformational for me. It was so beneficial in so many different ways. And so I really want to gift that to you guys. I really want you to have the gift of belief, of seeing what's possible, and then, of course, having tactical steps that you can take to bring your dreams to reality. Because I fully believe, if you've listened to other episodes of the podcast, you know this. I fully, fully believe that literally everyone who goes all in and who claims that they are in the 5%, if you don't know what that means, go listen to the episode on the 5% rule. But for those who claim that they are in the 5%, and it's not just say, oh, yeah, yeah, I am, but it's like, no, you show up and you do the work and you put yourself in the 5% of those coaches who will actually be successful and create these amazing results and everything that they want. You get to decide if that's yours, my friends. Okay. And I've been thinking about this as well. I've been thinking about this a lot as well because I've spent some time reflecting on my clients, and I have a lot of them, and they are so, so, so amazing. And thinking about why some people grow in business, and often it is kind of like, it's not to say it's not hard, but it appears to be without effort, and really why others will struggle for months, years, or honestly, I've talked to people who have been struggling decades, like over 20 years, which is crazy, right? And I've had a lot of students in the past couple of years go from startup or making less than $1,000 a month in their online business to hitting six figures in 16 weeks or less, like the six-figure monthly run rate. And I have some people who, when they first started working with me, were on track maybe for $30,000 to $40,000 in their business, hitting anywhere between like $250,000 and $400,000 a year within 2 years. Like, it's pretty crazy, right? And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I've personally scaled my own coaching business from startup to seven figures in less than 2 years. And even if you look at my boot camp, I was able to hit the six-figure run rate actually the fourth month that I was in business. And it just blows me away. Like, it just blows me away what's possible. And I talk to so many coaches, and many of my clients are starting their online business for the first time. And there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of uncertainty and doubt and all of those things that come up, which is 100% normal. And honestly, I don't know that that stuff ever completely goes away. Like, we think that when we make a certain amount of money, that stuff goes away and we feel better, we sign a certain number of clients. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't. It just shifts. It's like fear is like a shapeshifter, right? And so that sounds negative, right? It's not meant to be. I just don't want you to think that, people who are successful, I have a multi-million-dollar a year business. One of my favorite clients ever just told me yesterday that she is $10,000 away from making 400K for the year, which of course she's going to do. And it's like, I wanted to talk about what I think separates those of us who create like pretty dramatic and incredible results quickly in our businesses from others who often they'll like struggle, they won't earn enough money for a long time, they can't get out of their full-time job, and in many cases they end up fizzling out, right? You've probably heard me say before that the coaching industry statistic is 80 to 90% turnover within the first year, and not making money is not a really great incentive to stay in an industry. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? So let's talk about what is it that allows some of us to excel in these really incredible ways while other people struggle. And what I've learned also is it's not any like particular gifts or genius or, being birthed understanding funnels or like anything like that at all. Okay. So I want to boil this down to 7 things that I have observed in really myself and in my most successful clients. And this is stuff that we do, I think, first, maybe subconsciously, and then it becomes conscious. And this is actually stuff that I do spend a lot of time coaching clients through and coaching prospective clients through, because it is stuff that can be really so limiting for us if we allow for it to be. I see dreams become shattered under these 7 things, right? Like people don't push themselves forward as a result of allowing some of these things to get in the way. And I just don't want that to be you. Okay, so let's talk about the 7 things that I think that my most successful coaches do, that I do, that have really been those make or breaks in business. So the first thing is that you must recognize the lies that your brain tells you. Okay, your brain is designed to lie to you. it's actually designed to keep you safe, right? Which means that it doesn't like change. It doesn't like when you take action. It doesn't like anything that feels unfamiliar. So what it does, the biological component that is your brain, is it lies to you to keep you from doing those things. And it'll tell you stories about your readiness to get started on a business or a new project. It'll lie to you about your ability to afford something or not. It'll lie to you about all kinds of different things. It will make fear feel so powerful and so real. And that can be in regard to a million different things, from like how you think people are going to judge you and what you make it mean about you if you make money or ask for sales, like a million different things, right? So just remember that your brain is different from your mind. Okay. We would typically think of them as the same thing, but no, no, no. Your brain is this biological entity that's honestly not really up to date with 2021. It's like thousands of years old. And it's not, I mean, it's smart, right? Because it does all your like bodily functions, it keeps you alive, all of that stuff. But when it comes to navigating the world and your goals, it's not really on your team. It's like, why don't you just keep quiet and do those safe things over there? But your mind is the thing that has rationale. It has the ability to plan and to make decisions and to do critical thinking. And so, what you need to understand is that as these lies your brain is feeding you to keep you small and keep you safe and keep you from dying, ultimately, right? Because it's designed to look for danger everywhere, you need to make sure that you can recognize what's true from what isn't. If you accept all of the thoughts that your brain is just feeding you that are keeping you from moving forward or taking action or putting yourself out there in a powerful way, you haven't yet learned to distinguish between your brain and your mind. And your brain is going to lie to you all the time. You have to get used to that. You have to learn to recognize it. And then the key is not giving in. Okay. So that's the first thing. My most successful clients and I, we understand and we expect all those crazy stories and all those lies and all those fears that our brains are going to feed us. And we do it anyway. Okay. The second thing that you need to really think about, and again, this is what my most successful clients and I do, is we do what I call treading the slight edge. We tread the slight edge. Okay. So I use that terminology from one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And really the concept of the slight edge is this idea that the small and seemingly insignificant actions that you take and the choices that you make every little moment in every single day are the things that ultimately add up to success or failure in any area of life, whether that's like your business, your body, your health, your fitness, whatever, right? It's like, it's these seemingly insignificant things. So they seem really small in the moment. So it's like, okay, let's say you one day, you blow off your workout and you go eat a pizza. Okay, no problem, right? One day, cool. Well, what if you did that again the next day? Probably still no problem. Well, what if you did that again the next day? You're probably not going to have a huge problem for like a matter of days or weeks, right? But then there's going to be a problem. Problems add up over time, right? The negative consequences of our choices or the positive consequences of, or we'll say positive results of our choices add up over time. But it's not the big decisions necessarily most of the time that are actually making all the difference. It's those little ones that seem like they don't matter in the moment. So, oh, well, I'm too tired, so I'm not going to post today. Or, oh, I just, I don't feel motivated, so I'm not going to take this action. That on repeat over time creates a lot of failure for a lot of people. So I want you to remember this concept of the slight edge. And I can tell you guys, my most successful clients, they do not say tomorrow or next month or next year. The most successful people understand that it's the choices that we have and the actions that we take in each moment that truly matter the most. Okay, number 3, you must be unapologetically bold and brave. And, one of my coaches recently asked me to kind of identify what choices I've made in my life that are different from the choices that most people make. And it was during one of those moments where I was in really deep contemplation of my own growth and success. Like I was trying to figure out what was next for me. It felt like an existential crisis. Like I was going through so many different things, right? And what I identified as the choices that I make that are, and I would say again, for my most successful clients, what differentiates us is the constant willingness to take risks, right? The fact that I'm now sitting here having invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into my growth, and the fact that I'm willing to make really hard decisions, whether that's hard conversations, I've left relationships that I felt were inhibiting my growth. There's so many tough decisions that you have to make for your life that affect your business and vice versa, right? And you have to be willing to pour money into your dream as well. And so many people are just too scared, right? And you have to be unapologetically bold and brave in the decisions that you make and the way that you say yes to yourself and go all in on yourself if you really want success that most people won't ever be able to create. And you do that through being incredibly and unapologetically bold and brave. Okay, the 4th thing you need is powerful decisiveness. So, one of the biggest sticking points that I see for a lot of entrepreneurs, and, even like this kind of goes back to when I was like a health and fitness coach, right? Even in those types of clients, is that they get stuck in indecision. So, as a business owner, your ability to make decisions very quickly is a critical component of success. The most successful people in the world do not take very long to make decisions. I always joke that it takes me longer to figure out what I want to eat for dinner every night than it does to figure out what I'm going to spend $10,000 or $30,000 in my business on, right? Because I know that being decisive is so, so, so critical. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about things. And part of that comes down to like some experience and the fact that I do trust myself now and that I'm not afraid to fail or make the wrong decision because it's always a lesson, right? But if you have to think about things for like more than a day, like even big things, in my opinion, that is a recipe for stagnation, right? A recipe for stalling yourself and even maybe a recipe for failure because when we think about things for way too long and we overthink, what ends up happening a lot of the time is that we talk ourselves out of it, right? Because that's your brain, again, like we were talking about at first, intervening and telling you the lies and how you're not going to be successful and you're just going to throw away money or you're going to waste your time or whatever the story might be, right? So being decisive is so, so, so important. And I think that for many coaches, their inability to make a decision usually comes down to something like this, right? There's something that you want, but it's scary what you're going to have to do to get it. So that part of your brain that keeps you safe and lies to you, it kicks in and it makes it feel like making a decision is impossible. That's how it feels, right? And if you look at any of the most successful business people in history, again, they make important decisions very, very quickly. So you get to decide on decisiveness. Okay. The 5th thing is constant self investment. And I fully believe, and I believe it more with every moment that passes, that successful business owners have mentors and are constantly investing in their own growth and personal development. They're not afraid of it. Okay. Even when I had no money, even when I was trying to figure out where to put things on credit cards, on like across multiple credit cards, I invested in myself. And those difficult choices and scary moments, because I was 100% scared many times, but those have been the key moments in my life where I have made terrifying decisions that honestly, like if you looked on paper, it didn't make any sense. But those moments and those decisions and getting the support that I needed are truly the reason that I am where I am in my life and in my business today. So successful business owners, successful coaches have mentors and they are constantly invested in their growth and personal development, and they are not afraid of it. It doesn't mean that a level of investment or something like that doesn't scare them. It's just that they feel that fear and they do it anyway because they know that those who fail to constantly invest in their growth are the ones that never grow. And that is truthful. It's just a fact. Okay. You can't get around it. I've coached almost 2,000 business owners. You cannot get around it. And I've have many, like hundreds of colleagues over the years, and they would say the same thing. Okay. So number 6 is that you need to take fear as a sign of an upcoming breakthrough. So again, most of us allow fear to mean, oh, we shouldn't do this, or oh, we're going to retreat. But I actually think that fear is a sign of an upcoming breakthrough. And of course, this means that you have to take action in spite of the fear, which always proves to be the hardest part. And of course, I'm a human, right? I still feel fear when making certain investments, taking new action, any big thing in my business. Trying something new sometimes feels really scary. But what I've learned is that this fear is my alert of my upcoming breakthrough. It's my next level. And that knowledge, and again, that level of trust that I've developed with myself allows me, and I think, again, my most successful clients would say it allows them also to push forward, even in the face of extreme fear or anxiety. Okay. Because look, amazing things that change your life are going to be scary. Okay. That is just the way it's going to be. And the last one, and I'm sure I could probably add more things to this list, but we'll keep it to 7, is boundless resourcefulness. So I fully believe that resourcefulness is the top most precious and critical quality for any entrepreneur. And it really truly is the make or break in whether or not someone's successful. And resourcefulness comes in so many different things, right? It's finding money to get what you want. And it could be figuring out how to do something new, right? For the first time that you've never done before. It's like your ability to figure things out to get to where you want to be. And resourceful entrepreneurs, again, the ones who are successful, never stay stuck, whether it's, again, around making decisions, finding money when they need to invest to grow. Resourceful people can always find a solution. They are never helpless. They never give up. And I always just think like resourceful people, like, like when you have a business, right? No one's coming to save you. No one's going to be able to do the work for you, nor should they, nor should you have that expectation. You can't just throw your hands up in the air and wait for something to happen for you because it just doesn't work that way, right? You've got to be willing to make it happen and to find solutions always. And so I just want to say if you've had this kind of like lingering or maybe nagging feeling of discontent, and if your heart and your soul know inherently that you're meant for so much more in business and money and life than what you have right now, you need to know that it comes down to making decisions that are different from how you've been making them before. You've got to go against what feels comfortable and align your actions to those things that you truly desire. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be some of the scariest stuff that you've ever done. You're going to have moments that you want to burst into tears. You're going to have moments where your hands and your voice are shaking as you're like handing over a credit card number or hitting go live and, whatever the case may be. And you're going to have moments where you feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to crawl into a hole and permanently crawl up under a blanket and go on a Netflix binge that never ends. But what I talked about today is factually what it takes to achieve the extraordinary, to have a life and a business and the impact that 95% of entrepreneurial people dream of, but will never have the courage to achieve. And so here's how I want to end things is if you are determined to move your life forward and move your business forward in such a powerful way. And if you want results like what I shared above for myself and my clients, and I just want you to take that action, right? Make a decision, take that action and do it now, because I fully believe that 2022, and this has already been happening, by the way, but 2022 is coming heavy for the coaching industry. So I believe that people need to decide now whether they're in or they're out, and you've got to be all in, right? And that includes everything that we talked about today. I really believe this is going to be a make or break year for so many coaches. And if you are all in and you're like, I don't know how to build an online coaching business, Nicole. Like, I want to be all in. Yes, to everything that you said, but I don't know how to build an online coaching business. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. And I'll put this in the show notes, but I want you to go over to authenticconversion.com/private dash application. And what I want you to do, again, that's authenticconversion.com/private dash application. What I want you to do is I want you to complete the form over on this page. And what you are applying for is an invitation to view my private training. It's called How to Build an Online Coaching Business to Six Figures Annually in 3 to 6 months. And what I do in this training is I break down the entire system, structure, framework, offers that work online, all the way down to a strategy perspective, exactly how you can make as much money as you want in your online coaching business. But you've got to have the plan and the support in place. So go over there. The training is totally free. Okay. So if you love the podcast, you are going to love this training. There's visuals. It's much more in depth than a podcast, right? So go to authenticconversion.com/private application and complete that application. It's in the show notes just in case. And I will be personally reviewing the applications that come through to view this private training on how to build an online coaching business to six figures in 3 to 6 months. And I would love, love, love to help support you in getting yourself to that next level. And I just want to say, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I truly hope it's helpful. Reach out to me. Let me know. I am here to serve, my friends, and I will see you in the next episode.